Welcome back to Reel Fishing 2, the walkthrough. Today we are tackling the second to last level. This is the last of the freshwater levels in this game, and we are after Sakura Trout. It is the sea run version of the Yamame trout, as it says, so that means this is a Yamame trout that has gone out to sea, matured in the sea, and then running back up the rivers here to spawn. There's a misuse of the word elusive. It's not the right spelling for that particular usage there, but another one of the charming localizations in this game. Elusive, though, with an E, is a very apt description for these fish. They do not bite very frequently, and you can see my strats will change a little bit as this video goes on. This was recorded in a couple different sessions, actually a week or more apart, as things got a little bit busy here in the summer of 2020. So looking at our equipment, we can do fly fishing or lure fishing. I completely eschewed the fly fishing in this level, as I usually do for trout levels, unless I want to demonstrate something. But you all have seen how the fly fishing works in this level, and you've heard my thoughts about it. I won't relitigate those here. So I start with the spoon, and I wanted to give you an idea of just how elusive these fish are. To show you a few casts before we actually hook into a fish, because a lot of fish in this game, you get used to hooking things mostly every cast. I had to do a chine jump here to get us to a bite, and I believe I had switched over to a different bait here. Yeah, I'm not on a spoon anymore. There is one big strategy development that you'll see at the end of this video as I go to that, so watch to the end to see my suggestions for actually clearing this stage. So you saw me miss that fish. These are a very fast hook set fish, so you have to hit them very, very, very quickly. So that one we did get almost instantly, so you gotta really watch. We're currently fighting one that's gonna be less than 2 feet long. You can tell by the sound, and even at that size, it snapped me off. Now I was using a lighter line because I was getting more bites with this cast and retrieve strategy. The goal, by the way, is to catch one Sakura trout around 2 foot 4 inches. So that should be 2.33 feet if my math is correct. 4 inches is a third of a foot, so it should be 2.33 feet is what we're looking for. This is another less than 2 footer. You can tell by the sound. I'm a little bit more careful in playing this fish. These fish can jump, but they don't jump too often. They usually will jump right at the beginning of a fight. Here is our Sakura trout, 1.44 feet. Not where we're needing to go, but it's a good start for us. We're gonna get right back to it. This is a nice level for the Reel Fishing Relaxation, so if you haven't checked that series out, it is just 10 minutes of the background JPEG with background sounds and music playing. So if you need something to relax, kick back with, it makes a nice frame on your large TV on the wall if you've got that, and it's just nice relaxing. It's kind of like a Yule log video on YouTube or on Netflix around the holidays. So anyway, we're kind of horsing this Sakura trout in. It's another smaller one. There are, trust me, between successful catches of these fish, there are numerous missed hook sets and also numerous lost fish. As I was towing with lighter line, I am using the large rod and I'm using the heavy-duty reel to give me a little bit more pull, a little bit more oomph. It looks like this is with a spoon because I'm changing a little bit. Here is a 2-footer. You may have heard that sound. That deeper sound tells me that this guy is a 2-footer. And you can see I'm actually able to successfully turn this guy, which is not very common with these fish, especially when you're not using the very, very heaviest line. I'm actually able to get him turned with not too much strain on the line. Using a combination, you might not be able to tell by the sound of the reeling, but I'm using a combination of just the X button, which is a slow reel, and then the X plus square, which is the fast reel. The fast reel puts a little bit more strain on the line, so if the fish goes into a sudden run or a jump, it can suddenly snap you off. Now, 2.16 is not the 2 foot 4 inches that we are looking for, so you can actually see I was very disappointed. I thought I had cleared the stage after a good long playing session, and then I had to let that one go and get right back to it. Yay for the Sakura trout. And lots of the casting and retrieving was pretty wearing on my thumbs. If you're an inveterate video game player, you probably have experienced thumb fatigue as I'm holding that X button down to reel it in and constantly recasting. This is another 2-footer, by the way. And I'm included this battle so that you can see how a typical fight with a 2-foot fish goes. This is actually better than average because I've gotten a few turns out of these, out of the kick animation, I call it, when they're trying to throw the hook. So right here, the fish has pulled to the end. I've got a couple of turns, but right here, he goes into a chain of those kick animations and I'm not able to pull him out. Other times when they would go into that chain, I would be pulling to try to turn them, but then the line would snap because I was using less than the strongest line because I was getting more bites with a weaker line. So here is a pretty big time jump. And you notice I turned the music off because I'm experimenting with just the natural sound because this is where it's going to get serious. I turned the line to the heaviest you may have seen there, 30 pounds. I'm going with one of the floating minnows. And I have to say again, I watched the Let's Play video from the channel called Team Hobnob from about 10 years ago that they did with this. Looks like on an emulator. And I noticed on their videos that just like the GT stage, and I didn't think to try this with these guys, you can cast out your bait and just let it sit there as if it were live bait. With these lures, you do not have to be constantly casting and retrieving. And I should have grokked that from other stages similar to this one. And right there, you can see I've hooked a fish. I was playing with the auto drag settings there as well, so that's why you saw the can't adjust the drag proc there. And here, just as it was starting to strain, I had been pulling, and I didn't actually snap the fish. I was a little bit too timid in pulling and trying to turn that fish. I was not aggressive enough. But the line gave me plenty of strength to pull and pull and pull and pull. So you can see your bite rate will increase per cast because you can cast out and just let it sit. It's much easier on your thumbs. You can relax. You can watch something. You can just wait till that screen turns black and then hook your fish. Pretty exciting. Here we go. And the floating minnow. We are hooked. We've got a 2-footer. We've got a jump, but I've got that 30-pound line, so I'm feeling pretty confident that I'll be able to turn this fish out of just about any run that it attempts. So I'm using, again, a combination of the X button slow reel and the X and square fast reel. Especially in the beginning part of the fight, I'm using the slow reel more to just try to keep the fish turned towards me, hoping I can get them to this point right here where they are at the surface and already a little bit tired. Let's listen. There is a Sakura trout, 2.35 feet. That is over the 2.33 feet that we're looking for, although interestingly, the Team Hobnob guys got one that was 2.31 feet, I believe, in their video. So the game is not perfect in what it's expecting of you. 2.31 seemed to do it for them, 2.35 for me. And I've turned the music back on here for the end as I do our wrap-up on the Sakura trout. So the recommendation for Sakura trout is use that floating lure, cast out, let it drift down. Use the strongest tackle that you've got and let it drift down. I did need to hook and catch a lot of those fish, smaller ones, before I started seeing the 2-pounders spawning regularly. But patience is the key for this level as it is for so many other levels. If you've enjoyed this series, which we are almost finished with, feel free to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, make a comment down below so I can see it. You can also hit me up on Twitter where I am active_ATE. We will see you next time.